the absolute worst part of teaching in Thailand?
Oh, and cry and the water.
We wanted to take our filmmaking a lot more seriously, but it's not that easy to just post a few videos online and make a living.
We had to make a decision. It was coming time for us to finish varsity, to get our degrees.
Well, I was working.
Yeah, Byron was working as a screenwriting lecturer, and I just finished and I'd been getting some really cool opportunities. And we had to make the decision whether we were going to follow what we were doing or take the risk.
And we didn't want to get trapped in the cycle of have a job to make money and money to survive so that you can do your job. That's not our goal.
Into Thailand.
A country with endless beauty to fill our lens and a job to survive while doing so. It sounds perfect, right? But was it?
We are going to walk you through the truth and the realities that are often skimmed over and show you our experience.
If you're considering a move overseas, travel filmmaking, teaching abroad, or an adventure in Thailand, this is for you. The first thing, you step off the plane and you start to meet the friendliest people ever. And every corner you turn around, there's some natural spectacle that you just want to go and explore, or you want to film in or play in, or there's just, it seems like every day is an adventure, so far from the normality that we've experienced before. But it didn't always feel that way.
Our first night we spent in Bangkok, and we probably spent about an hour roaming the streets of Bangkok trying to find something to eat. And I think we chickened out at the end and ended up buying 2-minute noodles. Everything was just so new. We were lost. We didn't know what to do.
And we were trying to embrace the adventure and try something new, but there was too much and there was nothing at the same time. Next, we found ourselves in Hua Hin, and we were surrounded by like-minded people. We'd started to make friends, and yet we still weren't completely comfortable. We found it was pad thai that we found, our first meal that we actually enjoyed, and we found a guy that makes it. We knew how much it was, we knew where to get it, and so we kind of stuck to a single food routine because it was comfortable.
And then orientation week passed, and it was time to teach our first class at summer camp.
Which is not a camp. I was quite excited thinking that it was a camp. It's not a camp. You go to the school for a day, then you come home and you do it again the next day.
Yes. But everybody has high energy, but also a lot of nerves. And the kids know that you are going to be coming in as a substitute teacher, so they are fully geared to press your buttons.
I never felt like I had made such a big mistake. We invested a lot into moving overseas. We pretty much left everything behind. We'd taken the one-way ticket idea. And after that day, those days, I felt like I wanted to leave. Luckily for us, we couldn't. So we had to stay. But the first experience was terrible. My first experience was terrible. So we graduated with our TESOL certification, and then we were placed in Trang in the south of Thailand. So it was a situation of, here's a ticket, good luck. And we had to figure out what this ticket does and where we have to get on, to what we have to get on. It was a bus. Took us down to Trang. We had to first figure out where to stop, where our bus stop was. So we spent a lot of time on Google Maps. So we're in Trang, and we have no idea. We're back at square one. We have no idea where to stay. We have no idea where our schools are. We have no idea where to get food. We have no idea how to get from where we are now to where we're going to live, because we don't even know where we're going to live. So we were just standing at the bus station with all our bags and trying to figure it out. So we're back at square one. But we figured it out. We moved to a small apartment for the first 4 months, and yeah, we arrived one day before we started teaching.
If that wasn't enough stress, we then, like Byron said, we started teaching the next day, which came with its own challenges. My personal experience, I got to school, I was told that I was going to be teaching one kindergarten class and that I would be their homeroom teacher. When I got to the school, I found out I was teaching, I think, 15 different classes. And those 15 different classes were not at one school, they were at 2 schools. So you can imagine my surprise when I heard this, because first time teacher, starting to panic, that's a lot of children, a lot of classes. And to top it all off, when trying to find my second school, I was dropped off at the wrong school. And
sorry.
Because
we didn't know that.
We didn't know. And because of the communication barrier, they didn't understand why I was there. I couldn't really explain what was happening.
And Tammy's school, she was the only foreign teacher there. So Tammy's schools, both of the schools, she was the only native English-speaking person there. So it was difficult to communicate. Her situation was a lot worse than mine. I at least had friends there. But okay, so the first day, you're guaranteed and assured that you will not be teaching the first day. And everyone messages the head of the department to make sure, hey, I'm coming to school, is everything going to be cool? Like, yeah, don't worry, we'll just show you around. You're not going to have to teach. Well, let me tell you that those impromptu classes are really tough and pretty much guaranteed. Everyone I know, when they came in, they were told, you don't have to teach. Cut to them teaching the first day. So if you're going to do that, just know that you're going to have to teach the first day.
A few weeks go by and you start to get used to this new routine, and it starts to become a little bit more normal. You start finding your regular place to eat, you start making some friends, you find out the route where you need to drive. You just start to become a whole lot more familiar, and you start getting a groove and finding your place in school.
And feeling a little bit happier.
And you're starting to feel happier. If you're still watching this, you're probably waiting for the chunkier inside, and here it is.
A lot, and let me emphasize, not all, but a lot of teachers don't come for the right reasons. I understand coming from a westernized country, the pay is comparably low, and you came from a low-paying bracket in a low-paying country, but you still average double the salary of a local teacher.
A teacher who has studied for years and has put everything that they have into the school and into the students. They love these students, they are there for these students on weekends, on holidays, and they are having to pick up the slack of foreign teachers who like to brag about arriving late, leaving early and taking off days for no reason, and then they don't tell anybody.
And they're so proud of how they're able to get away with it. Teaching is a noble profession anywhere in the world, but even higher regarded in Thailand. And it's a respect given to you from day one, before they know anything about you, in the expectation that you can live up to it.
You have a responsibility as a teacher to look after these kids, because you become their parents when they are at school.
This selfishness leads to students who battle to trust their teachers. Students whose education is subpar at best, and a myriad of teachers that are working behind the scenes tirelessly to pick up the slack for what must have been an innocent mistake.
This hits us really hard, considering the teachers we came here with were amazing, and the teachers that we surrounded ourselves with at school were also phenomenal, and they were giving their every breath to the school and to the kids. Like
Tammy was saying, the friends and the teachers we surrounded ourselves with were so wholeheartedly dedicated that it was disappointing and shocking to find how many of the other encounters would be less than desirable. And part of the reason we came was for that.
The second big one is culture shock. You are warned about it, you are told how to handle yourself when it hits you, but you also probably sit there and think that it's not going to happen to you. But let me tell you that it is, and you probably won't even realize that it's happening. Daily tasks become frustrating, the food starts to taste disgusting, you just get angry and irritable with everybody, and it's hard to say goodbye to your friends back home, but it becomes even harder to say hello.
We struggled for a solid month of this, and I can say 100% without a doubt that it is only in retrospect that we could even identify what it was. You know, they say traveling tests relationships. That's it. We watched all of our friends deal with it, and wow, it makes them unbearable to be around. And Of course, they don't know that they're going through it when they're going through it, and they often don't even acknowledge it after the fact. Before moving into the absolute worst part about Thailand, let's just take a look at some of the advice we wish we had before moving.
When coming to teach, you need to analyze why you are actually coming. You may be coming because you need to have a break and escape from something back home. You may be coming because you want to travel. But the most important thing that you need to realize is that you are coming for these kids. You will be the kids' parents essentially when the parents are at work. You need to teach them and guide them. There cannot be teachers who are uncommitted, and we've seen a lot of it, and in retrospect, even us. I wish we had known more about the actual teaching side before coming. These kids need a committed teacher, not a teacher who's going to be rotating every 6 months or every year. It's just not fair to them.
It's not a 9 to 5 job, it's a 7 to 5 job. And you can spend 5 minute lesson planning and great, but no one's going to benefit from that. We would spend hours lesson planning. When we came so that we could make travel filmmaking our priority, but we quickly shifted when we realized that if we were to do that, we would be sacrificing everything. The kids would just be having another person who's here on holiday and getting paid to do it. So that's why we haven't been able to make the films and the videos and the content that we've been wanting to. But we're glad that we went through what we did.
And we think we need to address this.
If you want to travel, sure, travel. Weekends, holidays, there's more than enough time to immerse yourself in the country and the culture. Definitely, we did.
Amazing.
We did it. But it's more than a 9 to 5 job, and you need to know that before you go. If you're going to come to be a teacher, come to be a teacher. With culture shock, don't consider yourself immune. You are going to go through it, and it's something that you need to go through in order to unlock or acknowledge something about yourself that you didn't know before or you didn't have a handle on before. And I can say that the grass is definitely greener on the other side. It's more like a forest. It's amazing to have gone through it. It's easy to say now, culture shock's not so bad because we've already done it, but just know that it's probably going to happen. Take an objective glance every now and then. Make sure that you're not the problem in the situation. And if you are going through it, identify it. Admit it to yourself first, and then to people who you trust or you care about after that. Now for the absolute worst part that nobody tells you about.
The kids.
Those who knew me before could vouch for the fact that I was not a kids or children person at all. In fact, I came with the sole condition of teaching high school, but university would have been great too.
We were told that we could teach our desired grades as long as we were in different schools. And we were fine with that. That was a compromise we were willing to make.
I wanted to teach at least high school.
And I wanted to teach babies. Kindergarten. I was given age 2 to 12.
And I was given grade 2. Grade 2. How was I supposed to deal with that? All of my lesson prep went out the window. I had never even begun to mentally prepare for that. And I found this out when I arrived at school.
Okay, so like I've mentioned before, I was teaching at 2 different schools, and I said I wanted the babies, which I did, but getting there and realizing that all they do is sit and cry because they've been left by their parents and they don't know who you are, you strange person, and they can't even speak Thai yet, never mind English. What are you going to do with them? That realization hits you pretty quickly, and you got to collect your thoughts and mentally prepare.
We spent hours every day, every single day, hours lesson planning. We would sneak in 4 hours sleep, and this lasted for the first 3 months. We were so tired, so drained, just trying our best to prepare something that we weren't prepared for, but trying to give the best. I mean, you first got to figure out what's wrong, what's missing, how can I fix it, and how can I fix it well, in the best way, the most entertaining and engaging way possible.
The students aren't aged, they don't know you, they're not comfortable with you yet. They still need time to grow and learn to accept you. into their bubble.
And trust you before you can teach them anything. For the beginning stages, it's
about trust and making them feel like they have a home.
And that you're there for the right reasons, that they can trust what you're going to teach them.
Months start to go by and you start to notice a definite shift. You start smiling once you've come out from your class, the kids start to rush into your office and they don't leave you alone, and you're okay with that because they start to become your best friends. You start sharing your everyday with them, and the moments you share are just really special.
They dash to your office before your lesson has even begun just to help you carry your stuff, and if it's one file or one folder that you've got, they will share it amongst everyone so that they all get to carry something with them. And you walk into class and you're met with shouts of joy and excitement, and the bell has gone, but they have no intention of letting you leave yet. You've got to stay. By the end of our third semester, they were spending every moment that they could with us. They would be there before school starts, during breaks, after school. They would spend as much time with you as they possibly could.
For me, it was insane to see how quickly you become accustomed to them and you start to know their personalities, their names, their nicknames, and all of a sudden you know the names of over 400 students and you know their personalities, you know what they need and what they need to improve on.
It's different for Tammy because for Tammy and I, we had different. My first co-teacher ensured that I knew everyone's names after the second lesson. So I had 2 hours to memorize, but I only had one class and I had 20 students. But I spent at least 4 hours every single day for a year and a half with my one class. So you grow to know like everything.
Now it's time to say goodbye. The tears begin and the bargaining starts. Teacher, please stay. Teacher, just one more year. I'll be good, I promise. I'll get my marks up.
They believe that there's something they can do, something that they can change that will make you stay for any amount of time longer. They organize surprise parties, gifts. They came in the holidays to practice a song, but they couldn't even get through because they were crying.
This is it, the why. The why we do it, the why it is incredible, the why it hurts, and the why we urge others to do it for the right reasons.
I had no idea. I didn't expect for it to be so difficult to leave. I didn't expect to grow so attached to my students. It was definitely the hardest leaving. I mean, there's hours of work, there's paperwork, redundancy like you cannot believe. There's so many small issues, but that was by far the worst. One of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do.
Even, I think before it becomes time to leave, the gearing up to the leaving, you start counting down your classes, the time you have left with your kids, and it all becomes very sentimental. This is the last time I might give them a Duramon worksheet. This is the last time I might hug him when he's crying and he needs help. This is the last time I might teach them a new word at assembly. The moments with your kids are so special, and to know that that will stop and that will end, it hurts. And you don't know who's going to come in after you, and if they're going to care for your kids, and if they're going to help them grow. It's all an unknown. It's difficult to say goodbye, and it was difficult for me also to watch Byron say goodbye, because as mentioned before, he wasn't that great with kids before, and watching him say goodbye to his kids tore me apart. Hanging on him, begging him not to leave, just so they could have one more touch, one more moment with their teacher. It's tough.
So that's why we made this video, and that's why we didn't hold back on mentioning that there's a lot of people that come for the wrong reason. We have a lot invested in this experience, and it is probably the best decision we've ever made in our lives is to come and do this. And it can be for yours, it can be yours too. It is incredible if you come for the right reasons. Don't...
It's cliche to say, but it will change you completely.
Just make sure you're sure why you're going to do it, if you're going to do it. And also, fair warning, if you are coming for the right reasons and you're like, I'll just come for 6 months, year and a half minimum. There's a lot of people that started with 6 months and they're still there.
I think we've left a part of our heart behind in Thailand. With our friends, with our schools, with our kids. It's our second home, and I think it always will be.
It's even difficult to say, because saying goodbye, no one likes saying goodbye, and obviously the worst is your students, but you make a lot of friends, and I had to say goodbye to 2 of my co-teachers. So as much as I'm spending 4 hours every day with my students, I'm also spending it with the teachers. And so I had to say goodbye to 2 co-teachers. And I don't even know how many friends we had to say goodbye to. It just happens all the time. So
it's a continuous goodbye.
It's like this. We want to say thank you to those who did put in the effort, to those that came for the right reasons and are coming for the right reasons, those past and future. Thank you for making a difference, because you do. And to all our co-teachers and friends for allowing us into their lives, their homes, and helping us build a second home in Thailand, in some small town in the south of Thailand that you probably have never heard of before.
We found a home.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody that led us into their little circle. Thank you for accepting us and taking us along on one of the best journeys.
There was a moment at one of the camps at school where I felt like completely in. They were playing games and they shouted at us to come and join the games. Please come play, come play. And we have no idea what's going on, because it's all in Thai, and our Thai was not good under pressure, and they speak really, really quickly. But at the end of it, at the end they had a campfire, and right at the end they all like linked arms and made a giant circle. So all the teachers, all the students of the school, and they were singing some song, and they brought us in with that. And that was one of the best moments because you felt completely part of it. They wanted you, in their circle.
So the worst part about teaching in Thailand is just how good it is. I can't do it. I can never do it.